Hey guys, BeardBrigade here, coming at you with our Friday episode. So it's Friday, or the video will be posting Friday, I should say. So with this episode, I'm gonna start calling our Friday episodes. I haven't done it. I do an episode almost every Friday, and I haven't really come up with a name of the day of the week. And since it's kind of just my random hodgepodge day, we'll go ahead and start calling our Fridays Freaky Fridays. So happy Freaky Friday, everybody. For this Friday's episode, as you can probably see already, we are in Apex Legends, which reminded me I need to adjust some settings here real quick. There we go. I figured it'd be a good idea. I thought about doing this a while back for other games, and now that I'm actually seeing, I've been playing a little bit of this one, I was actually kind of just sparked to do an actual review of the game. So I'm going to be breaking down, and if you guys like this, or if this turns out to be a really good video, I may start doing this with other games as well. So I'm going to break down the review into 3 stages, where we will look at in-game shops or ways to purchase things in-game, followed by just general mechanics, and then pretty much an everything else category. The rating system, I will be doing a 1 out of 5, 4 rating system, 5 being awesome, 1 being terrible. And I will take it basically an average of each section and average out the overall end score for it. What I pretty much will do is I will take a list of positives and I will take a list of negatives. If I have the same amount of positive items as I have as negative items, that category will just get a base, middle of the road 3 out of 5. If I have a few more positives than negatives, I will get a 4. If I have a lot more positives than negatives, I will give it a 5 out of 5. And then the reverse works for the negative balance. So if I have a lot of negative items, or if I have more negative items than positive items, I'll get a 2. And if I have most of the negative items versus positive items, then it'll get a 1. So that'll be the basis for the rating system. First off, as soon as we're on the load screen, we will go ahead and dive into the in-game shop section of Apex Legends to kick it off with. So, the first thing here, we'll just head directly to the store here. As we can see, it is super simplified screen. That right there is a big plus. It's not a really complicated screen. It's super easy to navigate. You have the items just on this initial thing. You have packages you can get of items here. You have any legends that are new or purchasable legends here on this screen. And then a section where you can actually buy in-game coins. So super simple. I mean, really simple layout. So that's definitely a positive in my book. A simple layout. So the next thing that I want to point out about the shop in terms of purchasing items is that all of the items are aesthetic. None of them, at the time of this recording, none of the items are going to give you any kind of advantage in the game. You know, you're not buying guns, you're buying skins for your guns. You're not buying abilities or armors or anything like that. Anything that's going to give you a leg up in the game, no, there's not a single thing in here. I mean, the even closest thing you could come to saying that you get an edge up is, spending actual money to buy legends that you don't have access to yet. Now, the next thing, which brings me to the next thing, is that most items, except for the things on the featured page, except for these exclusives, which you can use. So this little red box item is an in-game currency that you earn, and then the yellow or the cash shop, your actual buy money. you know, I spend money to buy these coins to purchase these. So these items right here are, from what I've seen, are only with the real money. And then if you buy these real money ones, you can use your in-game currency to buy these ones that are exclusives for some reason. But everything else, aside also from these cosmetic Apex packs, which are also real money items, Legends, however, as well as if you head over to the Armory, which, as we can see here, we can craft it using these crafting in-game currency that you can get. You know, everything can be unlocked with in-game currency, and in some cases can also be unlocked with the Apex coins, which you can buy, which I think is super awesome. So there's another positive, that you can use in-game currency rather than purchased currency to get the items. And then plus their aesthetics. So there's three awesome pluses right there for the shop. Really, everything else, you know, there's not really much else to cover in terms of positives, except for the fact that I want to bring this up. Seeing as Apex Legends is technically a kind of battle royale game, when you look at most battle royales, the three that I can think of off the top of my head are Fortnite, Ring of Elysium, which you guys have seen me do videos in those two games, as well as, you know, you have games, I believe, what is it? I want to say it's the PlayerUnknown Battleground. Anyway, basically the common theme that I want to point out about battle royale games is that there's battle passes, which you do challenges, you unlock levels and stuff in your battle pass to unlock stuff. There is not a battle pass in this, which I find is both positive and negative. So that one is going to cancel itself out, because I think it's a positive, because then you're not going to miss out. And I think that's one of the biggest things that kind of not necessarily irks me about the other battle royale games with having those battle passes, because then you can't necessarily get those items in some cases. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, if someone bought the battle pass and played through and earned all of that stuff, you know, good for them. But then that also hinders the players who maybe can't afford to do so, or, you know, maybe they really liked an item, and now the only way they could have gotten it was having the battle pass for that season. And also, you know, players who maybe weren't playing during that time frame. It doesn't hurt them for having not been playing the game. You know, even though the items are aesthetic, you know, sometimes you want that really cool the skin, but, you know, if it's an exclusive, oh, well, I should have been playing the game 2 years ago. Well, too bad. I think that kind of sucks when games have that stuff. You know, limited time only things. Like, if it's based on earning something, that's cool, but I think, you know, items, you know, should be able to be earned through hard work and not through you have to be on during a certain time of the game and you have to spend money on a game necessarily. I think I get the approach of it from a business aspect, but I don't like it as a player. I don't think it's not that life is fair, but I mean, the easiest way to describe it is that it's not really fair to other players who don't have that ability. So, but having it and not having it, or not having it, which I said is both a positive and a negative. So that one's going to come out and wipe itself out. So we have 3 good, solid, positive items. Now we have the negatives. So like I said, not having a battle pass, it's a negative, but it's going to clear itself out with not having a battle pass as a positive. So, first thing, I haven't played a lot of the game, but to gain this currency, you have to level up, and you have to get, let's see if I can click on it, maybe not, your profile. Basically when you level up, like this is my experience bar, when I level up, there's, I wish it would show me. That sucks. Summary, news, game menu, because that's only the settings. When you level up, you get 600, or at least at the level range, these early levels that I'm at, you get 600 coins of these legend tokens, and then when you open a box, you have a chance to get the crafting medals. And so far, it's been pretty few and far between in terms of that. I mean, I get the currency consistently from leveling up, but I've only gotten the one time the crafting medals. So it is a bit of a grind to get the in-game currency. Again, not that there's anything wrong with the grind, but for someone who's more of a casual player, such as myself, being a full-time worker and a full-time parent, gaming is, granted I do my videos, but gaming is something that's, a precious commodity. The time that I have is the time that I have. I have to maximize on it. But if I have to grind, 200 hours, and I only have an hour to play here and there, it's gonna take me, years to grind enough currency just to get one thing. So having to grind the currency, I think is a negative, because unless you're a hardcore player or dedicate all of your gaming time just to this one game, there's not really a way to quickly get currency. At least as of right now. The game is pretty early on, and probably, I've seen a lot of games fix stuff like that over the years, and balance it out and things like that. So there may be a way later on to increase that. Maybe they'll probably do events where you gain more currency for the week or something like that, or you'll be able to start selling certain items and skins that you don't need. So I think it's it feels a bit grindy, even at the early levels. The early levels, it should really entice you to try. It should really entice you and bring you in. And I feel like a good starting trick that a lot of games do is that they give you a lot of stuff off the bat. And I don't have that same feeling with it. It just feels a little more grindy. So that's one negative there. The other negative is, I'm not sure why it is a negative for me. I don't know if it's just because of how I feel about actually having real cash shop currencies, or real money cash shop currency, where you buy the currency to get the item. Because I've seen games both, and I am guilty of, buying items from cash shops like that. When I played Star Wars: The Old Republic, I did it a lot. I bought a lot of stuff using the in-game currency that you purchase with real money. And, I got a lot of stuff, and I amassed a huge collection of stuff. Now, this game, yes, there is the positive that these are all aesthetic items. However, I have seen too many times, and I have been burned too many times by games, especially shooter games and games that are like arena-based games, where you have the cash shop, and the cash shop item is, one, yes, the game is free, and it is the way for them to earn money on the game so they can keep development and production going on the game, and I completely understand that, but I've seen too many developers go down the road of actually making cash shops have that pay, or what people refer to as the pay-to-win setup. Now, right now the game doesn't have it, but because they have the ability to purchase an in-game currency, I'm going to treat it as a negative, because I fear that they may eventually go down that path, just to keep the game going, which I think would be horrible to see happen, because so far, overall, I love a lot of the features of the game, and I think there's, with a lot of the room that they have to be able to grow, I would hate to see something like that happen, because I feel that would be a big deterrent deterrent, in my opinion. Again, that's just my opinion. I am no expert in any way, shape, or form, but that's just how I feel. And that's why I'm going to treat that as a negative. So, other than that, when it comes to the cash shop, guys, there's really not much else to bring up. Because it's pretty solid. Like, looking at the prices here, even here, they're pretty comparable to games like Fortnite. For $10, I can get 1,000 coins. Now 1,000 coins, let's see here. 1,000 coins can get me a hero. 1,000 coins can get me 10 Apex packages. 1,000 coins can get me pretty close to buying one of these items. For $20, I can get these legendary skins. For a little over $10, I can get a Love of the Game legendary card thing. I can get this epic gun. So relatively decent prices. I would maybe say that for skins, maybe bring the prices down a little bit, because they do seem it's just a skin for your gun. It's not like it's going to, again, it's not like it's improving your gameplay in any way, shape, or form. So, yeah, that's part of why I'm also considering the cash shop as a kind of a negative, because these prices, now that I'm actually looking at them, $10 or almost $20 for a skin. Well, I really hope I really like that skin, otherwise I'm just going to waste $20, in my opinion. So, again, my opinion, there are people out there who want to spend that money, and they are more than welcome to. So, I just wouldn't jump on that bandwagon unless it was something that was super awesome and I had the $20 to spare. Maybe, but honestly, I don't think I could really ever spend $20 on just a gun skin, to be honest. Like, that seems a bit much. So maybe if it was a package that was multiple skins for $20, I could do, but not just one. I don't really think that would be worth it. So so coming in for the item shop, we have 3 positives, and then we have 2 real negatives. So that's one more negative, or one more positive than we have negatives. So I will consider that a 4 out of 5 overall rating for the in-game shop. Now, I want to cover some of the miscellaneous stuff before we jump into some game mechanics. So the first one is the graphic level. So right now I'm running the game on kind of a lower graphic setting, just to do some of the issues that I've been having with the computer lately. But I mean, in terms of even just on these lower graphic settings, the model details are fantastic. I'm not too big in terms of considering, graphics as a way to determine, the good and bad of a game. But they took a lot of time in putting the detail in the weapons, as well as bringing these weapons to life and keeping them accurate to the games from Titanfall, from the Titanfall series. Like, I remember all 3 of these guns from the Titanfall series. They were, the R301 is actually one of my favorite guns from Titanfall. The alternator, in fact, the R99 is also my other favorite gun from the game. I don't remember the Prowler, but that might be a new one, I'm not sure, to be honest. So, just the detailed models in the guns is fantastic. So that's one feature that I really am driving home as a positive. Now, the next positive, I kind of mentioned it with the cash shop, is the fact that the game has room to grow. They have several mechanics that aren't in the game that are big features of the Titanfall series. So they have the ability to add those features in and really expand on the game and change the gameplay a lot, and uh, add in some interesting things. Even potential game modes that can be added with some of the things that aren't currently in the game that Titanfall was known for, like wall jumping and Titans. Those two things. If they adding those in either as game modes or as actual things as part of the game, I think, they not releasing it right away, I think it's a good call because it allows them to build the game for what it is now, and then they can add those things in as they expand on the game, which I think would be a really cool option. Next up, let's see. So the excellent graphics, the room to grow. It's based on the Titanfall franchise, or it's based in the Titanfall franchise. Me personally, I am a big fan of the Titanfall games. I played a little bit of Titanfall 1. Didn't play a whole lot of it because by the time I got around to actually being able to own it, Titanfall 2 was already out. So then I picked up Titanfall 2 a little while back. And I've loved the game. I've played it dozens and dozens and dozens of times. I play a lot of online on an occasion. It's definitely one of my favorite games. Because I've been a big fan of robots, giant robots that you can pilot since I was a kid. So, that's another huge positive, is that it has this big franchise, which has led to a lot of the hype and nostalgia of the game. It's a beloved game series with a huge fan following, and this game is pretty much the game that we're going to get for the franchise until they decide to make Titanfall 3. So now the next thing is the map has a variety of terrain in it, which I like. So the game map itself has a lot of variety. In fact, we'll head towards that now. I'm about to get ready to jump on a map. And I like that. There's a variety of different environments to fight in on the map, which I think is a big plus, because then, each fight is a little bit differently because each area is slightly different, and there's different things to contend with in each environment. Like, that's not, there's no environmental effects, but, you have, like, a river that you can fight along, there's little camps that you can fight in, little urban areas, complexes. You can fight out in the open when there's a lot of cover. There's areas out in the open that have no cover. So there's definitely a lot of things, and depending on where the map takes you for the dome, you have some options available to you, and a lot of thinking can go into the game. That's technically a mechanic, so we're gonna move that over. So for negatives, though, the first one is that the game can be kind of taxing on older machines. Like I mentioned, I had to build my graphics down just to be able to play this consistently without too many issues. So it does, granted, it is a brand new game, and yes, my machine is older that I'm playing on. It's still very taxing on the computer itself, and it can cause problems. Is this, should this really be a negative? Probably not. But, for folks out there who, don't have the ability to constantly upgrade their computers, being able to play this game, it's unfair computer-wise for people to, I guess unfair isn't a fair statement, because, yeah, if you can't keep up with your computer, that's kind of a new, but, And the same point, people on consoles can enjoy it, but if you don't have a console and all you do is having a PC, you do need a newer-ish computer, or a computer that's specifically built for gaming to really handle it. Which I guess in this day and age is kind of a normal thing these days, but at the same time, it can still be taxing on some machines. So, I still think that would be it's kind of a negative, and it's mainly due to the amount of detail in the graphics, and the amount of processing power it takes to handle the detail here, and the stuff that goes on in a match too, with all the characters' abilities. So, well, that's kind of cool. Now, the next thing is that even though there is variety on the map feels small. I've been in I've only done, I think altogether maybe 20 matches, if that. I may even have fewer matches than that. And I've been to almost every spot on the map so far. And I don't know, it just feels small. It has good variety, but the map still feels small, which I think as the game goes on, if they have just this one map, it's gonna feel small, and it's gonna feel boring fairly quick, in my opinion. I feel like it'll get old quick. If another variety isn't added to the map, or other maps aren't introduced, which coincides with the third negative I have here, which is also the fact that there is only with the fact that there's only one map, there's only one game mode, and it's this team fight battle royale. I would love to see other game modes. That's one of the things about Fortnite that I think is interesting, is the fact that they introduced, it's still the same game, but they introduce, that's kind of cool, they introduce alternate game modes. Like you have the creative mode, where you can go and you can create your own little map. I think that's a really cool feature. They have other things where, Team Rumble, where you go in with a team of 20 people, and you fight. And you fight as a team, and not just like a squad or a duo. And it's basically just a giant team deathmatch. They have these other game modes that still keep the Battle Royale theme with the closing circle and the reduction in the map, but allows you to, up the ante by, trying to achieve one goal before another one, and focusing on a specific thing, rather than just the survival. So I think this game, Apex, could, take a line from that, and add some further game modes in the future, which I'm sure they probably will. But as for an initial launch, only having the one game mode and the one, the good variety map, being that the map is kind of small, I think those two things on initial release are kind of a bummer. And not that they're ready to turn in any way, shape, or form. I just think that they're not. They could have done a little bit more to have on initial release. So with that, we have 4 good positives, and then we only had the 3 negatives. So again, we're going to give just these miscellaneous items bits here another 4 out of 5. So now we have the actual game mechanics itself. So to feature off the game mechanics, we are going to just go ahead and dive into a match. Okay, so before I jump into a match, I jumped into a match and I had very competitive teammates, so didn't want to take away and record at the same time. So the one mechanic, the two mechanic negatives I want to talk about, I kind of mentioned them previously. So the two negatives about mechanics that I've come across so far in what I've played is the fact that you can't wall run, and the fact that there's no Titans. It's a game in the Titanfall franchise, and these are two things that you don't have or can't do, which doesn't make sense because that was one of the staples of the Titanfall games. Was the fact that you were a pilot and your mobility was key. Your ability to jump and parkour and run on walls was kind of what made the game interesting and unique and gave it that edge. And then plus you have the Titans. You don't have that in Apex Legends. Now, thankfully the game has room to grow, like I mentioned in our miscellaneous section. So they have the ability to add that in later, and I think that'll be a key thing, or will probably more than likely be something that we will hopefully see in the future of Apex Legends, as those two things. But unfortunately, I'm going to have to count them as negatives because of the fact that they aren't in the game art to start. You know, these two iconic things of Respawn and Titanfall series, and you know, it's the first Titanfall game we've had since Titanfall 2, and we don't have them. So it's kind of a bummer. Now, as for another negative / positive, so this one's going to cancel itself out. Forced teams. Now, granted, it's the only game mode currently available. Maybe we will see solo game modes in the future. But to start off, you're forced to play with a team. So yes, the forced teams can be good and bad. Because if you have a like-minded team, you're good. If you don't have a like-minded team, it's not going to end well. So it really depends on how you end up in terms of playstyle. So it's kind of, it's hit and miss for it, in my opinion. And that's why I'm considering it a negative and a positive at the same time. Because you can either find that right team, or you're going to have, not the right team. Now, if you're playing with a group of friends, that's awesome because you'll be able to get it right off the bat. So, now, other mechanics. So the positive, it has our normal battle royale stuff. It has the closing map. It has, you have to find your loot on the map itself. All of that. So it has your atypical. Oh, I totally missed that. It has that atypical battle royale stuff that you expect to find. Wow, Bear Civilization doesn't go on that one? Really? Yay! Favorite pistol. Civilization goes on this bad boy though. So anything that you typically associate with a battle royale game, it has. It has loot chests and the various random loots that you can find. All positives in my book. Sticking that tried and true battle royale stuff that you do expect to find in a game like this. Now, the fact too, the next big positive, is the fact that there is an array of characters to choose from, and each one has unique abilities specific to them. Now, granted, they are hunked into character class archetypes, which is fine. Nothing wrong with that. Let's see. There's nothing wrong with that. So that way it has a breakdown. Granted, that does then create the, some characters are more target friendly than others. I guess you could say. So they're more than likely, you're more than likely to shoot at a particular target based on the character they're playing than others, which can be a detriment to some extent, but not always. backpack. Have this equipped. Oh, I do. Okay. I was not sure that I did. So, yeah. You know, I feel like it can be a detriment to have that character class, but or character archetypes. But in the case of this game and the unique abilities of each character, it doesn't really take away, in my opinion. So I find it really positive. What do we got? Stop.
Standard stock here. Level 2.
I'm gonna look for a better heavy weapon. Now, the next thing is, so, you know, we have these unique characters with, you know, these character classes. The next thing that I really enjoy about the game, and it's something that I really liked about Ring Elysium, was, one, the variety in weapons, and the fact that the weapons are, again, iconic Titanfall weapons, which I think is, again, awesome. But next is the ability to customize your weapon with, you know, the different weapon mods. So, you know, I can find a stabilizer, I can find an extended clip, I can find a stock, or I can find this or that. Now, all of these options are available to me to get.
1 minute before the ring closes. We have time.
That was interesting.
The ring is in close proximity. Less than 1 minute.
What we got? So I really like that positive. So, in terms of overall, oh yeah, for Hemlock over. So in terms of overall, I just really like the, you know, variety and the fact that I can customize my weapons, and certain guns only have certain things you can add onto them. So I do really. Single fire. So I think that's a really good feature. So that really kind of covers our mechanics. So with the fact that I had multiple good mechanics, and more positives than I had negatives, we're going to go with, again, a 4 out of 5 for mechanics. Now, that, pretty much off the bat, so that's 4 out of 5 across the board, guys. So with that, you know, the game is, you know, overall 4 out of 5 rating in my book, which is, you know, pretty good rating overall. You know, I would definitely, if you like Battle Royale games, if you are a fan of Titanfall, you know, or both, I definitely would recommend this game to you. If you are a fan of shooter games, I would again recommend this game to any fan of shooters, because it has a lot to offer you as a player. So, and it's a lot to grow on. It's a lot of features, potential features that we could see later on that are iconic to the Titanfall franchise. Oh, I died.
Incoming frag.
Go team, go! Go team, go! Oh. Nah. So yeah, guys, overall I give Apex Legends a 4 out of 5, which is above average rating, has a lot of good features, has a lot of ability to grow in, not only to see as the game progresses and advances, what potential things we could see and potential new features and game modes that we could end up getting. I think it has just a lot of potential to be really great. I definitely recommend the game for anyone that I was mentioning. Anyone who is a fan of Titanfall games or is a fan of Battle Royale games, I definitely recommend it, especially because the game is free. Now, I didn't mention that at the beginning. The game is free to play, so if you aren't already aware of that, I hope you are now. So you can download this game on Xbox, you can download it on PlayStation, you can download it on your computer. Now, I'm not aware of any crossplay features, but you would definitely, if there is a crossplay feature added to this game, that would be amazing and would totally, kind of blow this game out of proportion, in my opinion. Now, some takeaways that I want to keep in mind, when you play the game, or just kind of general takeaways that my first impressions unveil before I wrap up here. Because of the fact that it is a Respawn, it's coming from the Respawn Entertainment, I think that's what they're called. The creators of Titanfall, and it is a Titanfall-based game. There has been a whole lot of hype about the game. Hopefully my breakdown for you guys has been helpful. Because rather than keeping that in mind, I did include the fact that it is a Titanfall game, it is a beloved fan series, and things like that. I did account for those things as positive, but I did not just focus on those things. Now, I know there has been a lot of focus, a lot of attention has been drawn to the game because of that, and it's kind of the next big thing right now. But overall, it has a lot of strong positives when you look at a lot of the different things and a lot of the different features of the game as they currently stand. Limited, but with plenty of room to grow. So if you were finding this video and the game has changed since this video, hopefully I've done a follow-up review on it, but hopefully it has moved in that positive direction. It has grown, and it has added on to that list of positives by adding game modes and maps and stuff, while staying unique to itself. And if not, hopefully it didn't fall too far down the negative path and all of those things that I feared. So, anyway, I hope you find this review helpful. And with that, guys, we're going to wrap up, which means we need to head on over to Spotify and update our playlists real quick. So I'm going to stay on Pathfinder there, my little robot friend, because I like Pathfinder, and he's got his thumbs up, and yeah, thumbs up, guys. So, you know what, the perfect song is the first one on the list here for our eclectic playlist, and that is Pour Until Payday by the Reverend Peyton's Big Damn Band. As the song name implies, it's just a song about being poor until payday. Quite literally. But it is a super awesome song. It is, I love the Reverend Peyton's Big Damn Band. They have really good music in my opinion. And I just find them a complete utter joy to listen to. So, boom, guys, there we go. That is our song for the Nerd Collective playlist. As for, that's right, guys, here it comes. Song of the day, yeah, song of the day, yeah. So, For our song of the day, folks, let's take a look here. Again, a lot of good ones, but some of these I've used already. You know, we're going to go with No Peace by the Virus. It's a punk band. It's a song about war and the fact that we're constantly, seems to be like we're constantly fighting wars. So, I feel like, I don't know, it almost feels like a fitting song since I'm doing a game about a shooter. So, yeah, those are that, guys. As always, you can follow me on Instagram at BeardBrigade0. You can find me on Twitter at BrigadeBeard. And if you have enjoyed the video and found it helpful, make sure you hit that like button for me. If you've enjoyed this video so much that you want to see what other videos I got, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and then ring that bell like you would at Long John Silver's. Is Long John Silver's still a thing? I don't know if it is. Anyway, if you get the reference, you're awesome. If there's no more Long John Silver's, that makes me a sad panda. Because I like Long John Silver's. They're a great fast food restaurant. Anyway, ring that bell loud and proud for me, so that way YouTube will notify you the next time I have a video uploaded for you to enjoy. Other than that, guys, if you want to support the channel, go down below and check out the description where I have a GoFundMe page listed. You can donate to that page if you want to help keep my channel going. I plan on doing more videos, which include my kids, and you know, I'm definitely in need of some better equipment to do that with. Since our current setup is on the fritz and on its way out, unfortunately. So, you want to support the channel, head on over there and support the channel that way. Other than that, guys, thank you so much for all of your support and checking out my videos. And you guys have a super fantastic rest of your day, and you guys make sure you take care of yourselves, and we'll catch you next time.